You know what Lucky stands for? Lucky. Lucky means living under correct knowledge yearly.
Living under correct knowledge yearly describes how Rockstar makes all their games. They create something wonderful. In 2001, that was GTA 3. They learn from it. They gain more education from it. And then they live under correct knowledge again. They release a new game that improves upon everything the last one did. GTA San Andreas is a response to Vice City being too short and too small of a map. GTA Vice City is a response to fixing out a lot of the mistakes and just the minor problems that came with GTA 3. GTA 4 is a response to go in a more mature direction to avoid being paired up with things like Saints Row, and GTA 5 is a response to add more freedom to the map with flying planes and different characters you can play as, like Trevor, Franklin, or Michael. Living under correct knowledge yearly is what Rockstar does. And Vice City said that loud and proud by being an improvement over GTA 3. I'm cruising in my convertible as the famous blue Hawaiian t-shirt man, Tommy Vercetti. The neon signs glisten on my windshield before I take the day off at the tan, beautiful Vice City beaches, or before I go and look at the most square-looking ass I've ever seen in my life at the Pole Position Strip Club. Ooh, just yummy. The story follows Tommy Vercetti, who just got done serving 15 years in prison for his mobster family. He's back, and the head of the family wants him to go do a drug deal in Vice City and slowly climb up the ladder there. The leader of the family, Sonny, has faith in him, but he also expects a fat check from Tommy, eventually when he makes it to the top. The drug deal is a bust, though, and for the first half of the game you spend going around from character to character trying to figure out who took the drugs and who took the money because you didn't get either of them.
You have my personal assurance that I'm gonna get you your money back, and the drugs, and I'm gonna mail you the dicks of those responsible.
Hey, I already know that.
While you're searching around, you stumble across the Lance, the sweeter side to Tommy's psychotic side. And yes, Tommy is very unhinged. He's very psychotic.
And I'm a convicted psychotic killer and drug dealer.
GTA 3 is about revenge, where GTA Vice City is about building an empire. These are the words that came out of Leslie Bensie's mouth, the head producer on the game. And it's the point of my whole video. GTA Vice City is meant to be a gangster's paradise. You climb up, you build a mob empire to control the city. You're every stereotypical 80s gangster's dream. It also explains why GTA 3 looks the way it does comparatively. The streets are dirtier, New York is disgusting due to that revenge theme. Meanwhile, Vice City is glowing and looks like a heaven from the skies, but the closer you get to that utopia, it becomes a dystopia, because it's owned by all the criminals out there and the big players that are hard to see from far away, because all you're seeing is that big, glowing Vice City. It's a mirage. And no, not the Counter-Strike map. The founders of Rockstar Games, Sam and Dan Houser, Terry Donovan, Gary Foreman, and Jamie King are all still with the company in 2002, but a newer addition to their crew, who joined in 1999, was hired to be the president of Rockstar North, and his name is Leslie Bensies. Bensies just loves to give us cool little details on every game in the series, and we all love that about him. Awesome guy right here. One example that he gives us about Vice City is that it was never meant to be a GTA 3 sequel. According to his words, we wanted to see what we could do with a mission pack. New weapons, vehicles, and cool missions. Basically anything we had wanted to put in a GTA 3 but hadn't been able to. That's a Leslie Bensie quote to Adam Rosenberg from Digital Trends. He talks about contemplating revisiting London, like in the expansion pack GTA London on PC and PS1. They darted away from going international though and stuck to Miami due to one of the OG founders, Sam Houser, his love for the TV show Miami Vice. Everything felt like it was inspired off of Scarface, Miami Vice, basically any 80s noir action film, even with some feeling like they're inspired off of Terminator, like when you break into a police station. Or how about the bank heist, where the characters wear hockey masks, not because they're dressed up as Jason Voorhees, but because they're dressed up from Michael Mann's Heat.
Why'd I get mixed up with that bitch?
Cause she got a great ass!
Vice City's history is just hard to tap into. It's very clouded, probably due to how fast everything happened. Rockstar North has about 3 months of pre-production and 9 months of normal production, then boom, the release date hits. Even developers would probably agree with me on that. Vice City is described as a blur because so much of it just clicked, it worked. They seemed more confident after 3 got great reception, so adding planes, helicopters, customizable clothing, real estate properties to purchase, just that all came naturally to them. A lot of the new in Vice City didn't just go into the vehicles and the guns and the whatever. A lot of the new went into the tone, the environment, the details, and the satirization of the 80s. Rockstar has talked previously about how going back to the past was a risk to them, but Dan says that part of the reason the 80s was chosen is due to the easy satirization of some of the moral values back then. The obsession with wanting to be a celebrity, which, don't get me wrong, people are still with the TikTok and Instagram and all that. Yeah, like, people still give a shit about all that stuff. But, like, in the 80s, celebrityism was huge. It was. Like, everybody wanted to be an actor. Everybody wanted to be in Hollywood. Consumerism was being glorified around every corner. And just the over-the-top television programs, radio stations, everything. It was so easy to satirize all of that. Think like RoboCop or something. RoboCop is a satirization of 80s culture as well.
I'd buy that for $1.
Part of living under correct knowledge, Lucky, as a philosophy, requires you to look at every piece of your art with the most critical eyes, and the Rockstar team took that beloved GTA 3, and in Dan Houser's own words, the writer, he says that they assassinated it. They took a microscope to that motherfucker so they could perfect Vice City. It's not because Rockstar is lucky, it's because they know how to be lucky. The satire of the entire world is shown to you, in my opinion, what is the best and most important cutscene in the game. Ken, who is your schmuck scummy lawyer who just wants money and a place to live and all this, he wants everything, sends you to help out a guy named Cortez. He's partying on his ship with a bunch of, quote, big players of Vice City. The big players.
Yacht, and all of Vice City's big players are gonna be there, okay?
Tommy Vercetti comes on board and meets Diaz, who he ends up killing later to become the next big player of Vice City. He sees a film director, a governor who's cheating on his wife with somebody who's definitely not his wife, a rock band called Love Fist. And all these people are going to come back around in the story because Tommy Vercetti wants what they have. This is when his motivation is established. He has just as little loyalty as Claude did in GTA 3 when he was getting revenge, but instead of fighting for that revenge, he's fighting to become as big of a player as all of these people are, and he wants the power of being on top. In Tommy's own words after meeting all these guys, he says
that there are more criminals in this town than in prison.
The sad thing for Tommy is that to move up the crime ladder, first you gotta work for all these guys. You gotta be their pawn. The beginning of Vice City has you thrown around doing missions for real estate guru Avery, who is another big player that was on Cortez's ship. You have crimes that you have to do for the lawyer Ken, and you have to help Cortez and his daughter Mercedes. Ken has you out here beating up jurors because he wants them to commit jury nullification for criminals, and then you have Avery who has you beat up a guy on a golf course, and then Avery proceeds to follow up a really fun mission by being the biggest cowboy dickhead known to man and giving you one of the worst missions in Vice City with this helicopter garbage. It's not because it's janky or annoying. It's not janky or annoying. It's just the most boring thing I've ever played in my life. The sheer boredom of flying around in this mini helicopter, and the only entertainment you have is flinging people 30 feet by hitting them with your propellers, and then you plant these explosives. It's short, but by God, it feels like 30 minutes, and it kills the pace this early on in the story. Next, you gotta help out Cortez, who reaches back out to you after the party because he has some info on who might have caused the drug bust. You meet up with a group of chefs in an alleyway, and you meet Lance, who's also hunting down the same man as you. The man who fucked over that drug deal. Lance wants to find him because he killed his brother. So Lance's story is very similar to the standard revenge plotline of GTA 3. It's based on emotion. Whereas Tommy Vercetti, it's just based on pure greed. Sure, you could make the argument that originally Tommy Vercetti was going to get the money back for Sonny, but like, let's be honest, Tommy Vercetti doesn't really care whether or not if he gets Sonny back the money or not. He just wants power.
Bribery? Screw bribery. I'll show you how to make them scared.
Building the empire is the theme of Vice City, and Tommy Vercetti embodies that as a power-hungry maniac. It's a nice little contrast between Lance and Tommy, though. Lance is out there for the emotion, Tommy's out there for the power. It's a good dynamic for our two main leads. It's not as in-depth as it should be, but we'll see that later. Cortez's missions lead you to becoming his right-hand man, and you eventually save another big player called Diaz, who is coincidentally the biggest drug lord in Vice City. You get some levels from Diaz too, which Lance helps you out with. You gain Diaz's trust, and even doing another fun part like flying around a massive neighborhood in a helicopter and mowing down mobsters from above. After this, you and Lance finally talk about taking down Diaz. Being the biggest drug lord in all of Vice City was not already enough motivation. After the conversation with Cortez, he admits to you that Diaz was responsible for the drug bust. That is now all the more motivation to take down this motherfucker. And then right after that, Cortez says, yo, will you steal a tank for me?
I have a buyer for a piece of military hardware that is being taken through town. Pick it up for me.
I'm not joking. He asked you to steal a tank for him right after this conversation. It's which Tommy, being psychotic, freakazoid, he agrees to it because stealing tanks from the French military is an easy feat. But as you can imagine, the French military didn't take it well, and they begin tracking down Cortez. So in his last big hoorah, you shoot at boats, helicopters, and soldiers of the French military to help Cortez get back to sea safely. It's a nice little sweet goodbye for the player that started you on your path, which Cortez, he's that guy. He was that big player. He threw the big party on his ship. We love Cortez. His last request is for you to protect his daughter Mercedes, and Tommy Vercetti, being such a good guy, he does this by getting her railed by the rock band Love Fist, putting her into the industry that makes you want to play whack-a-mole with your hot dog. Yeah, that industry. Tommy kind of sucks at his job. Dude has absolutely no chill, he's got no honor, and he doesn't give a fuck about what Cortez says. After Cortez says goodbye, Diaz is waiting back at that mansion for you, and Lance shows up to help you out, and you both take out Diaz together, you kill him, and now there's a power vacuum that you gotta fill as the new big player of Vice City. Everybody's breathing down your neck on what to do next. Pretty quickly, things escalate between Lance and Tommy, and this is what I mean by their dynamic not being that in depth. It's like one cutscene later, Tommy is yelling at Lance for not doing anything since they killed Diaz together, and Lance is mad because Tommy's breathing down his neck.
Don't worry, Tommy. I can handle it. You call this handling it?
You could have done a lot more with this. Lance got what he wanted. He got his revenge. And I think he just feels unmotivated to help anymore, whereas Tommy, he's always craving power, so it annoys him to see people not trying. I think this is what they were going for, but it feels really underdeveloped on Lance's part, and I think you could have just had 1 or 2 missions or some cutscenes that could have had a moment where Lance is talking about how he got what he wanted and he doesn't know what to do with himself anymore, and Tommy just trying to get him to do what he wants rather than listening to his buddy. This would have sealed their relationship for me, but sadly it's not there. It never really shows up, and I think that having this would have made Lance more of a good guy to sympathize with, and I think that's really what he should have been, because Tommy's not a good guy. Nobody thinks Tommy's a good person. It's just that the differences between Lance and Tommy are very apparent. Lance is sweeter than Tommy is. Lance is out for different motives than Tommy is. But they don't do as much with it with those last few missions as I would like them to. And for that finale called Copland, it's the last time you and Lance both work together. You dress up as cops, you burn down some evidence that could have been used against you, and in my opinion, this is a difficult level. But it's exciting, and it's unique, and it's the second to last mission in the game, so you kind of just expect it to be difficult. Almost always the second to last mission in games is very difficult. Copland fit the bill. For a while after Copland, you might actually think that is the ending of the game. You might be kind of confused about where to go from there. You're running around, you buy properties, you can mess around with some side missions, but eventually, after buying enough real estate and playing the game enough, you'll get a call from Sonny, the original family leader who sent you to Vice City at the start of the game to do that drug deal. The whole plot catalyst of the game. He yells at you and is angry that you've been taking over Vice City and not giving him a cut.
Just take the money.
Get the damn cash. You know, Tommy, I did what I could for you. I pulled strings, called in favors. I was your friend, Tommy. I hoped you'd see sense, see what's good for business. I trusted you, Tommy, and you disappointed me.
You find out Lance betrayed you to help Sonny, and you put a bullet in both of them. I'm the biggest player out there now, and I've now slaughtered everybody in the ending that is reminiscent of Scarface. But instead of dying like Tony Montana from Scarface, you survive, and now you are in a gangster's paradise because you have lived, fought, worked your way up in Vice City, and now you quite literally own everything. The entire game's central focus is that mob empire, the expansion, the influence that you have on everything. In the final moments of the game, you literally see your money dwindling as you're racing to kill Lance and Sonny because they're stealing all of your money. If they're stealing your influence unless you stop them. It's a brilliant visualization of the success that you've gained and how it's being taken away from all the guys who envy you. I dig all of this. This is my type of gangster game. People complain about the size of Vice City because it's too small, whatever. But this works in the game's favor. The size of Vice City being so small, it makes it, that means that every quest line you do, you feel like you're learning about how the cogs and the gears of the city work. Good examples would be the Cuban quest line showing off the gang wars of Vice City. Helping out Auntie shows off how you're helping out the Haitians. And the taxi quest line showing off the monopolizing taxi industry of Vice City. The Love Fist quest line shows you off a satirical look of the music industry in 80s Miami. Everything is so fleshed out. You get your grubby little power-hungry hands on every part of it. It's awesome. It's not just the side missions that show off your influence over the small map of Vice City, it's the real estate asset missions as well, that you have to do some of them to unlock the final mission. But these asset missions leading up to that final level really emphasize the mob empire feeling of Vice City. We're working on unlocking that final mission. You need to do 6 real estate property quest lines, and you need to own every business in the game. So I'm going to give you 2 paths for anybody playing Vice City. The fastest one to unlocking the main mission, and in my opinion, the perfect and most ideal way to unlock the main mission. If you want to do everything, then go for it, but some of these are worth it, and some of the side quests feel kind of like pushovers. The first property everyone knows to buy is Malibu Club. You generate the most money from it, making it easier to buy other properties, and I think it's the best real estate missions by a lot. You work for the shithead lawyer Ken again. He does nothing but bitch and complain as he asks you to break into a police station and save somebody. This leads to a Terminator 1 battle where you just go in guns blazing, taking out every cop you can find. This is already one of the best missions in Vice City. You just gotta deal with the annoying piece of shit Ken in every cutscene, but that's okay. Everybody can get over that. You're building a gang and you commit a bank heist, which works similarly to how the style is in GTA 5, but just for PS2. You do a few small levels that build up to doing the big heist, which that's cool because we haven't really seen that format in any GTA game up until this point. It's the first time a bank heist has actually felt somewhat complex in this series, with mission upon mission of build-up. You hold people hostage, you get the manager to unlock the safe, you fight off a SWAT team, and you escape as a unit. It might genuinely be my favorite content that Vice City has to offer. That's Malibu. Malibu, and yeah, we're gonna do a tier list, because I like tier lists are fun. It would be S tier. It is in my 5 must-do real estate property levels, even if you are going for speed when unlocking the finale, because you got to get a good amount of money to be able to do that. So Malibu in both fronts is the first one you should do. It should always be the first property for speed and for best possible experience. And why are we doing a tier list, you might ask? Because I fucking want to. Pole position is one for the speedsters because I actually think this property is trolling you. The way to do the side quest line to pole position is you give $300 to strippers for private dances. You have to commit the ultimate sin, the thing you promised your mom you'd never do in GTA. You have to get a private lap dance. And not just by a stripper, but by the definitive edition 3D PS2 resolution AI upscaled remastered stripper model with her pancake doughy ass. Her dance moves that make Crispin Glover look amazing. And a face that not even God would love. God had nothing to do with the creation of this woman. Just sit here and watch her move for 5 minutes, and when you're done, you will not be hard as a rock. F tier. But if you're going in for speed and you want to do a speed run through to get the final mission, then this is a must because it's very quick, you're done with it, you can move on. Now we have the Cherry Popper ice cream drug dealers. Now you're disguised as an ice cream truck, but you're actually selling drugs, which that's hilarious. It's not very entertaining though. It's not as entertaining as you would like it to be. It really only works as a quick way to finish a real estate property. You have to do 50 deals to beat the side quest line. Overall, it's kind of boring. It'll be repetitive for about 15 minutes of your time. C tier. It's an entertaining concept, but not very well executed. We're just going through the speedster ones first. Malibu, Pole Position, Cherry Popper, and now the docks. You own 2 boats after buying the place, and all you have to do is just do a checkpoint race. Probably lasts less than 5 minutes and you're done. Docks is a weird one to rate because it's so quick. It is insanely quick. I would probably give it D tier. It is just, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's not annoying. It's not like you're not actually doing anything like Pole Position where you're just experiencing a paralysis demon giving me a lap dance, but it is very nothing. The buying of these last 3 properties, Pole Position, Cherry Popper, and Docks, doesn't really flesh out the world as well as some of the others, with the exception of Malibu. That first one, fantastic. But it does add whole new meanings to the buildings when you buy them. Now, instead of this just being an abandoned ice cream shop, this is your secret front of drug dealership. Now you've seen what Pole Position has to offer, and you never want to go back. The real beef for fleshing out the world outside of Malibu, though, is shown in all of the rest of these properties. Prentworks. Prentwork is the only one you actually have to do to activate the final level. I think everything here is pretty solid all around. There's a boat one that's pretty hard to pull off, and then there's Cap the Collectors in a really good finale where you have to chase down mobsters who are all over the city who are taxing your businesses. You do a drive-by, shoot them up, or you just run them over like a true champion. Prentworks is a must for both lists, and it's A tier. Sunshine Autos was that last one I had for speedsters. It's a repo dealership that makes money off of you stealing vehicles, bringing them back to be repossessed and resold at Sunshine Autos. You can either steal these cars or do races, and even though this one seems simple enough, I love that it forces you to learn which cars are which. I'm somebody who I've never known the difference between a stallion or a cheetah. I've never known the difference between any of these cars. Now I kind of know, and that's due to the work of Sunshine Autos. It's not very complex, it's not very good, but you also can just run right outside of the dealership, wait for cars to line up, take the cars, check out which one's which, bring it in. It's very quick. It's very easy to do. I was going to give this D tier because it just kind of helps you learn the cars, but it's not super fun. But I'm going to give it C tier because you get a DeLorean from Back to the Future. Enter Global Film Studios is worth $60,000, and once you buy it, you start to work for Steven, who films these X-rated films that you would not show at work due to NSFW. He advises you to go get him some hotties, so you go get Candy, who is the governor's mistress from that party boat scene in the beginning of the game, and you also get Mercedes because you're protecting her by putting her into an X-rated film. Interglobal Studios is one of my must-plays because it does make you do things that you've never done for the rest of the game. It makes you fly from rooftop to rooftop on a motorcycle. They have you fly around a plane and drop flyers all over the city. It's really fun stuff, and a lot of it is unique only to Interglobal Studios. You can't do it in any other part of the game. To me, that's A tier. It's one of my favorite properties. We have Phil's Place. Now, this technically isn't even a real estate property. It's just kind of side quests you can do while you're doing the real estate properties. It's very short, and the most notable part about these side quests is that you help him get to the hospital while he's drunk after he blew up his own arm in an accident. B tier. Okay, here's my hot take. This is my big hot take. We have, last but not least, Kaufman Cabs. This is a harsh, guilty pleasure of a property for me. You slowly monopolize the industry by taking out all the different competitors. The finale to this is that you get to be at the top of Vice City in terms of a taxi cab company, and you arrive to a secluded location thinking that you're picking up Mercedes, and then 6 taxi cabs all show up ready to ram you. It's like a little taxi army is about to try and fight you and you're gonna have to survive. The game makes you last throughout their ambush, and then you have to fight a big, bad, tough taxi owner who's been waiting to take down your whole taxi regime, and he's got like a Jaguar-looking taxi cab. You both bump cars together until you eventually kill him. Kaufman Cabs is like ridiculously goofy, but that's why it's up there in S tier for me. I like climbing up the ladder as Tommy Vercetti with Kaufman Cabs. I love the final boss fight. I think it does a great job at balancing the humor that satirizes monopolies. Some of the real estate property stuff just happens, But this one, you see that very clear progression on how Kaufman Cabs takes over Vice City as the main cab company. Nothing beats that moment when 6 cab drivers pull up to take out their fellow man. So my recommendations are pretty straightforward. If you want to speed run through it, do Malibu, Printworks, Docks, Cherry Popper, Sunshine Autos, and Pole Position. But if you want the better experience, do Malibu, Printworks, Kaufman Cabs, Interglobal Film, Phil's Place, and fuck it, reward yourself with the floppy disk ass from Pole Position. Next, for all of you who want the ultimate Vice City experience, just do everything. I know that's not for everybody, so I give you guys different options. All the activities in the real estate properties just, they add so much to Vice City's world. People might be like, well, the worlds are so in depth about GTA, from GTA 4 and San Andreas and 5, and I agree. Those worlds are in depth. I don't think they're as in depth as Vice City. And I'm not saying that Vice City's my favorite GTA or anything. I'm not making some, and even if it was, who cares? It's a really great game. I'm going to explain why this world's deeper. I can look at a single image of GTA 5's Los Santos and not have anything to do with it. I did nothing for it. I had no experience there. I had no influence there. I did nothing. Same goes for San Andreas. Same goes for GTA 4. And I'll even throw GTA 3 into that. These are worlds that are created to feel like they're living without your influence over them. And I think that's really good when you want to create a realistic world. But that's not even the point of Vice City. Vice City is so much smaller, and therefore it's a more personal world. You could show me any screenshot of Vice City, and I have an attachment to something. The Kaufman taxis. If you just show me a picture of the street, I likely see a car I know the name of now. I see a Kaufman taxi, and I run that taxi industry. I created that. I monopolized all of the taxis in Vice City. I even killed the other taxi leader and got to keep his leopard skin car. I repoed these cars for Sunshine Automotives. I can tell you that's a stallion. I can tell you that's a cheetah. I can tell you what that is. I know the names of every single one of them now, and I didn't even know that previously, and that's because of this game. Oh, there's a Haitian gang on the sidewalk. I helped them out when I was laced by Auntie. Oh, there's Cubans. I helped them when I was working with Danny Trejo. There's the place where Love Fist's assassin was located. Oh, there's Whoopi's, my drug front company. Oh, there's my Mansion Island. Oh, there's the golf courts that I did some missions on where I killed a guy. I even know why Sucks, spelled like S-U-X-X-X, is on the side of a building.
I said, no giant shark, all right? Just keep the cameras pointed at the poontang.
Okay. Hey, Tommy, you guys gotta try, right?
You probably don't know why that's there. I do. And it's because I played the freaking game and I made that happen. Everything in every place has been touched and influenced by Tommy Vercetti. It's been influenced by me as the player. The mall that I crashed up, everything. You could take a picture of anything in this game and I had influence on that area. That's the difference. I could go to places in every other GTA and I don't even have to know where that place is. I don't even have to know what it is. GTA Vice City, it feels like an inside joke to me that nobody else understands how much influence my character had on it. And the only way to have that personal connection to the world is by playing it. The influence of the real estate properties is probably my favorite stretch of Vice City's story, but even the side stories before that in-game material still show off Tommy Vercetti's reach into the world. The Love Fist story has gotta be my favorite, with the classic druggy 80s rock band parody. You're helping out these big players from the boat, helping them get drugs, get a groupie named Mercedes because we're protecting her, guys. Don't worry. I'm a good person. We're protecting her. We help Love Fist stop stalkers, and we even get a moment that's inspired off the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves, where you have to drive a car above the speed limit to prevent a bomb from blowing up the band. The best part about this whole drive is that you get to hear the band members arguing amongst themselves trying to disarm it. This is just classic Rockstar material right here. Rockstar, these are the types of levels people want to play when they start a side mission in GTA. No fetch quests. Don't give me anything boring. I don't want boring stuff, but give me a crazy ass speeding car listening to drunk band members disarm a bomb in the back. Love Fist is just S tier for me when it comes up to side missions. Other side stuff you have is like Mitch's biker gang, where Tommy needs them for security, but they want Tommy to be one of the family members of their gang. They even unironically tell Tommy this.
We don't ask a man to do the dirty work and then let him do 15 years hard time. Yeah, that's right, I've done my homework, which is why I'm gonna ask you to go mess with the man. This whole damn country needs a kick in the ass, and we're the ones to deliver it. So get out there, grab a bike, and show this city how pissed you are.
All right.
Appreciators, all of you. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna give everybody some advice. If somebody says they've got your back and then explains why you need to go on a killing spree, they are not looking out for you. Mitch's gang are not the best. It's just a race. You cause some chaos, and then you have to save somebody's bike. They're passable. They're fine. I'm gonna give it C tier. Auntie Powder is the next on our list, and it's by far the weirdest batch of content that all of Vice City has. A woman named Auntie asks for your help. She calls you up, and it's very vague. She just asks for your help. She drugs you using her teas and her stews. And while you're inebriated, she makes demands of you, and you listen to her because, well, you're under the influence. It's the ultimate, oh, I was drunk. It was okay that I did that, I think. Oh, I didn't mean to do it. I was drunk. Don't blame me. Oh, I committed an oopsie. I was drunk. I killed 35 to 50 people, but come on, guys. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a good person. These are missions that you'd have no real desire to do on your own merits because they are fucked up and you get nothing out of them. Well, nothing except more of that tea, and Tommy needs that tea. Auntie Powder is gonna get A tier for Auntie. I love the weird, pointless shit here. I don't know why. It's just fun to me. Now we're helping out the Cubans. We just got done helping out the Haitians with Auntie, and now we're helping out the Cubans, but whatever, here we go. These are actual missions that can be good, but I'm also not gonna lie to you, these are not very creative, and I don't think they show off anything unique, but they're not bad. They're not bad at all. Most good side missions to me tackle stuff that can't be in the main story. You got the bank heist, police station shootout, the taxi monopoly. But when it comes up to the Cuban stuff, you really just have like, you go into a gang area, you set up bombs there, and you do some other chores. It's not that unique, but it's still good. Kind of hard to just be plain bad also, because in between all these missions, you get Danny Trejo being Danny Trejo.
You got on panties like a woman too, huh?
What do you got against women? You prefer men, big boy?
I like women. I like all women. I love my mother, Chico.
It's a B tier for me. If you want a deeper world connection to the Cubans on the map, then I recommend doing these, but the best thing they offer is honestly just Danny Trejo and Ray Liotta insulting each other in cutscenes. That's S tier. When you separate as a cutscene, that's S tier. All the side stories are here just to pattern out time. They give you things to do in between just flying through the main story, because if I'm gonna be honest, one of the worst things about GTA Vice City is that it is the shortest GTA by a lot. Like, holy shit. You can beat this thing in 3 to 4 hours if you know what you're doing. But if you don't do any of the side content and only do main missions for your first playthrough, it'll probably take you 6 to 8 hours. It's fascinating to me that this is the shortest and smallest GTA, but I have such a close connection to the map that I don't have with any other in the series. And I don't think I ever will. It's a game that's kind of the sum of all of its parts. Like the side stories, yeah, they range from just being okay with some of the payphone stuff, and then they feel like sometimes they're must plays with the Love Fist stuff, but all of it together is what makes it worth it. I don't know, like, you got everything. We've gone through the good, you know, the bad, the real estate properties, the activities, the side stories, and it all together shows how much an effect you have on this godforsaken Vice City. It's a gangster's paradise because it's the only GTA map that I have every tiny effect possible on. You look at the map after you've bought everything, and everything, you know, it looks pretty filled up, but it's actually huge. Like, there's places up and down between these locations, like gas stations, restaurants, pizza shops that you can go into, as well as the mall. And it makes everything feel more real. Even if there's not a lot to do in a lot of these places, it's better than just having them blocked off like GTA 5 does or something. So many of the interiors of Vice City look disgusting, they look run down, they have paint chipping on the walls, but on the outside everything looks gorgeous as always. And even the clubs, when you enter them, you got guys talking about how they're watching their family members strip on poles. And whether it's intentional or not, this all fits in that theme I said earlier. I talked about how the entirety of Vice City is glamorous. It's all sparkling from the outside, but the deeper you get into it, the grosser and the more truth gets revealed, whether it's the deterioration of the interior of the buildings or the big players that run everything who are all just greedy assholes. I think that this all fits in with that core theme, that glamorous outside with a dystopian inside. Something that's always interested me about Vice City, but actually GTA Rockstar as a whole, is their way of challenging the status quo of GTA every chance they get. I'm gonna explain that because I feel like everybody just thinks GTA is just, oh, they just evolve off the previous game. I don't think that's really the case. They don't often challenge the status quo in terms of cities. You know, normally they just reuse Liberty City, Vice City, or San Andreas. Rockstar does do it in terms of stories. GTA 3 is a revenge story, GTA Vice City is a mob empire, moving up the ladder and taking over everything. It's that gangster's paradise. San Andreas' challenge is to go as far away from that as possible, so you get a Grove Street gangster whose mom just died, and he's just trying to make ends meet for his family and bills. It's the opposite of Vice City. They could have just gone the safe route and did the gangster's paradise again, and just in another setting this time. But where Vice City is a gangster's paradise, San Andreas is a gangster's hell. GTA 4 had to also be very different from all three of these, and so instead of doing the same thing again, they challenged the status quo and made it about an immigrant story with Nico Bellic. And then GTA 5 came around, and GTA 5 is definitely the weirdest. It's definitely the most identity crisis heavy in terms of story, and that's because it tries to be everything. It's the retired thief, it's the Grove Street gangsters, it's the psychopath in the middle of nowhere, but it feels like a ragtag group of misfits, almost like a James Gunn film or a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's the ragtag group of misfit criminals, misfit gangsters who are all working together to do bank robberies. And 6 is now a love story about thieves. It's Bonnie and Clyde. People can make fun of GTA and pretend it's always the same thing, but the writers and the storylines always try to be their own thing. And they always try and show off a different side of what it means to be a gangster, whether through the highs, the lows, as a foreigner, through the group of outcasts, or through a strong love story with GTA 6. I know some people will argue with me and say, well, they always have certain plot beats that are similar in each game, as well as like Red Dead Redemption or other games, but I would still make the argument that conceptually and the character writing is always different. I love that about GTA and Rockstar's writing. They're always challenging themselves, and just like in the beginning, they're living under correct knowledge yearly. They're always improving upon that foundation, upon the world, upon the gameplay, and then always tackling an entire different side of gangster life. Changing those main character motivations, making the concepts for these characters entirely different, and also even making the theme of the game different. Instead of it being about revenge, now it's about building an empire, and then it's about a gangster's hell. Doing these changes gives me reasons to revisit old GTAs. If you've played GTA 5, you have not played GTA Vice City. If you've played GTA 4, you have not played a better version of GTA San Andreas. You have played a completely unique game. And I think that that's something that I love about Rockstar, is I always have a reason to go back and revisit an older GTA. Because the building a mob empire, I can't find that in any other GTA. That feeling is not there for me in other games. I don't like it when sequels make playing the previous game superfluous. I like GTA because I have different reasons to revisit the different GTAs. Vice City is an incarnation of equal parts Sam Houser's obsession with 80s music, Dan Houser's obsession with fashion, the neon-lit Miami, and all the founders' obsession with 80s films for story scenarios. That is what makes Vice City Vice City. It's not, it's inspiration off of fucking Mario. The love of film also answers why they wanted well-known actors at this time, because they made so much of that GTA 3 money, and they wanted more well-known actors in this one. So they got Ray Liotta doing the voice of Tommy Vercetti, and plenty of others like Danny Trejo, Burt Reynolds, and Dennis Hopper. Rockstar working with some great actors seems like a dream come true, but when you start to hear any of Tommy Vercetti's dialogue,
I'm gonna mail you the dicks of those responsible.
Yeah, there's some problems. I save this for the end of the video because I understand this is gonna be a very hot take. Ray Liotta is a great actor. I am going to be straight up. Ray Liotta is an amazing actor. He even won Voice Performance of the Year at the Game Awards for this game. But I don't think he deserved that award. I think the awards ceremony really wanted a celebrity, and fans of GTA loved that Ray Liotta did the voice, so picking him was a natural because at the time in gaming there wasn't many celebrities doing voice performances. In my opinion, even Matt Olson from Sly Cooper as the fucking turtle Bentley deserved more praise than Ray Liotta as Tommy Vercetti. Ray Liotta is iconic, so his voice matches perfectly with Tommy, but I don't think he's trying. Sam Houser, the owner and founder of Rockstar with Dan Houser, has even said only one thing regarding Ray Liotta's performance in Vice City, and it comes from a Games Radar interview where he states, and I quote, "Ray Liotta was interesting to work with. We had him for a long time. In some sessions he was fired up, but in others he was like a hole, a very dark one that couldn't work." He made comments later on about how he should have charged us more to be there, and I hate chat like that. Like he's saying next time I'm going to pin them for more money. Well, how about this? We just killed off your character. That's how we handle it. It's easier to work with someone who's keen and enthusiastic rather than someone who's been in hundreds of movies. Sometimes a famous person will just show up and they just read the script, they want their check, and they want to go home. I find it insulting and depressing. That was the quote. Luckily, Tommy Vercetti is as charming and likable as he is psychotic. So the voice kind of works, and he still remains an icon of GTA. I think that quote from Sam Houser says everything that needs to be said about the kind of relationship and the back and forth debacle that was probably happening behind closed doors when voice recording for Tommy Vercetti. I love him as an actor, but I don't think he did a lot here. And I hate saying that considering he passed away on May 26, 2022. Ray Liotta's voice makes the character iconic, but it's not really his performance for me. Always a very charming guy in interviews, though. Here's a clip of his Game of the Words speech when he took it home, and I love this quote that he says. Here you guys go.
For some reason, I've had trouble my whole life convincing people that I really am a very nice guy. And now that I'm in Vice City, well, forget about it. Thanks to all the guys at Rockstar, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
It's kept Rockstar on track for years upon years by committing to this idea of learning and being critical of all your past work, living under correct knowledge every year, being lucky. So speaking of being critical, do I got any major gripes with Vice City? Not many. I do think the game is a bit too short, and I think some of the side quests feel really rushed. I wouldn't change the size of the map at all. I would probably make the game a little bit longer, and I would add a little bit more depth to some of the side quests, and maybe add a little bit more to do. The depth would probably go into Lance and Tommy's story. I think Lance and Tommy's story and their crossroads, I think that would have been very interesting to tap into more. Rockstar dropped GTA Vice City at the best possible moment so they could build up hype for their final entry before we enter the HD era. That's gonna be GTA San Andreas. Where was Rockstar North going after all of this? Weirdly enough, they were going right into tackling the opposite of a gangster's paradise with a gangster's hell of San Andreas. Rockstar North was also developing Manhunt at the time. We'll get into Manhunt 1 and 2 in another retrospective. If you know Manhunt, though, you know how fucked up that side of Rockstar is. If you don't want to play Vice City because you know it'll be back in GTA 6, I'd still play it. You will have a reason to. You always have a reason to visit older GTAs. It's in the 80s, and let's be honest, it's not going to be anything like this in 6. If you are thinking that it's going to feel like a remake, it's not. It's not going to feel like a remake or anything. Revisiting Vice City and GTA 6 is going to be weird, guys. I'm here to tell you bluntly that GTA 6 Vice City is going to be nothing like Vice City from the 80s. It's going to be strange to revisit it not in the 80s, not with Tommy Vercetti, and I can almost guarantee you will not have the personal connection to it that you have with Vice City, that feeling of almost everything feels like an inside joke because you know how everything is the way it is. Because it's just going to be too big. It's going to be so huge. And I'm fine with it being huge. All of that's okay. I'm just saying don't expect that you're going to have a personal connection to every little part of the map like you did in Vice City from 2002. The Vice City from 2002 cannot be remade. It just can't. It's too closely connected to Tommy Vercetti and the 80s to be replicated. It's too small and too short to be replicated in a modern GTA, because no GTA from here on out is ever going to be this small ever again. The quickest and safest production for a GTA, but that caused it to also be the smallest and the shortest. Vice City's length made it easy for Rockstar to focus on the depth of Vice City, the scum of the big players, and the facade on the outside. The fact it's the smallest map allowed for you as a player to influence every part of it, to have that personal connection. Oftentimes the point of GTA is to make a world that lives without us in it, whereas the point of Vice City is to make a world that wouldn't be able to live without you in it. You own Vice City, and that's why it's so awesome. Here's our Rockstar Retrospectives timeline that we're going entirely through, and we started off with Take-Two, who bought BMG and rebranded them as Rockstar Games in 1998, and now we're at the point of multiple Rockstar companies like DMA, which became Rockstar North after GTA 3's release, and they've made all the GTA, so that's all we're focused on today. Join us for our Rockstar Retrospective journey all the way until GTA 6. We covered Midnight Club, GTA 3, GTA 1 and 2, and now we are moving on to GTA San Andreas. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and if you hated the video, hope you still have a good day, because that's okay too. I appreciate you sticking with me till the end. You guys already know what we do on this channel. We are going to be appreciating every single little piece of art out there. And I will always appreciate you.